Hi, this is Chris from HITI Software. In the previous tutorial, we saw how to send commands from your Emotiv headset directly to your Arduino outputs. However, with this method, you can only do very basic device control with your EEG headset, like switching on and off a LED or controlling its intensity. In this tutorial, we are going to see how to perform more advanced device control with your mind by using the Arduino data control panels. So first, go to Help and select Examples. Then select EEG and open the project example called Actions with Duration. In this project, we have two LEDs connected to pin 5 and 6 and a servo connected to pin 8. If we look at the Arduino data control panels, we can see that digital data 0 is used as a virtual switch, digital data 1 as a virtual button, and digital data 2 as a rising edge. We are going to use them to trigger execution of different actions by your Arduino. Now open the sketch related to this project, click on Open, and then Open Sketch. Let's review the sketch and see what it does. So we start by including the HITIBrain library, and then we define a sketch ID. Then we declare several objects and variables that we will need. In the setup, we start by initializing the HITIBrain library, and we set the sketch ID defined above. Then we set pin 5 and 6 as digital outputs, and pin 8 as a servo output, initialized at position 12.8 degrees. Next, in the loop, we start by handling communication with HITIBrain, and then we define a continuous action which will be triggered by the virtual switch on digital data 0 and which will run as long as the switch is activated. This action consists in the blinking of the LED on pin 5. This LED will blink if the switch is activated, and will be turned off if the switch is deactivated. To blink the LED, we invert the LED state every second. Notice that we don't use the standard function delay to control the duration of 1 second here. Why? Because this function is a blocking function. If we use delay 1 second, it will completely block execution of our Arduino program during 1 full second. And during that time, our program will not be able to perform any other task, such as communication with HITIBrain. This will disturb control and monitoring from HITIBrain and device control from your EEG headset as well. Instead, we use a timer object from the HITIBrain library, which is a non-blocking library. Here we have timer 1, which restarts every second. And each time the timer ends, its function delay returns true and we invert the LED state. Okay, next, we define a time-limited action which will be triggered either by the virtual button on digital data 1 or by the rising edge on digital data 2. This time-limited action consists in the blinking of the LED on pin 6 and the motion of the servo on pin 8 to position 169.3 degrees. This action only lasts 2 seconds, and when it ends, the LED is turned off and the servo is moved back to its initial position 12.8 degrees. Here we use two time objects to control durations, one for the blinking of the LED and one for the action duration. Notice that when the action is triggered, both timers are reset to synchronize their times. Now, select the COM port of your board and upload this program to your Arduino. Go back to HITIBrain and select the COM port to open it. Now, act on the virtual switch and check that the LED on pin 5 blinks as long as the switch is activated. Good, now let's try to activate this switch with our Emotiv headset. First, select the headset you would like to use and select the training profile. Then open the linker of the virtual switch, Select the detection and command you would like to use. I'm gonna take mental command and push. Select the power threshold and enable the linking. Excellent. Next, disable the linking and close the panel. Now click several times on the virtual button and check that each time the LED on pin 6 blinks for 2 seconds. Also check that the servo moves to a new position and then go back to its initial position after 2 seconds. Now, we would like to click on the virtual button using a command from our Emotiv headset. However, most of the Emotiv commands can remain active for a while. This means that with these commands, the button will be clicked repeatedly and the corresponding action triggered repeatedly. The solution is to use the rising edge instead. Remember, we programmed the rising edge on digital data 2 to trigger the same action as the virtual button. With the rising edge, the action will be triggered only at the time the Emotiv command appears. So, open the linker of the rising edge. Select the detection and command you would like to use. I'm gonna take mental command and pull. Select the power threshold and enable the linking. Awesome! Now disable the linking and close the panel. Know that you can also link an Emotiv command to an analog data. This is useful if you need to control a value, for instance the blinking frequency of a LED. Remember that if you want to add analog data to your user interface, you will need to go to Settings and then Unlock User Interface. And then you can add your analog data. This concludes this tutorial about how to perform more advanced device control with your mind by using the Arduino data control panels.